don't do that anymore. I've ascended physical touch with my keyboard and my mouse. I've ascended this, and you can ascend this too. So step 4. Cool. All right. What's up, guys? My name is Andrew. I have been working with AI every single day for the last 3 years. I've been developing businesses every single day for the last 6. So I like to take all of that experience and learned knowledge from doing hands-on activities with AI, with businesses, and dial them into videos for you guys. And hopefully they're useful. I try to bring critical thinking into the world where most people don't think critically. So today I want to talk about if I were to be setting up my own AI for myself, for my business in 2026 today, how would I start doing that? So these are the 5 things that I would do first if I were to be setting up my own AI. This came to my idea, I'll let you know, just side note, because I got locked out of my Claude account that I've been using for the last 3 years, and I had to create a new one. And so I had to figure out how I was gonna really transfer and get everything dialed in. It was quite complicated, but I got it, so I'm gonna relay this to you. Let's dial in. So number 1, I would choose one AI system and one AI system only to play with. I wouldn't say, hey, try some ChatGPT, try some Claude, try some Grok, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna tell you straight up, Claude or nothing. That's the game right now. It's the best for work, at least. It's the best for getting workflows done, tasks done, and they have, really taken on this Claude era, the phase 2 of AI, that no other large LLM or frontier model has really done yet. So Claude is winning here. Now, I would set up Claude. I would only set up Claude, and I'm gonna keep saying Claude only, Claude only, Claude only. I think ChatGPT is off track. I'll just say that. Grok is for like social media. Gemini, this is the only other one where I would say dabble with this. I think if you're first getting your toes dipped into AI, dabble with Gemini. And the only reason I say that is because you probably use Google. And if you don't use Google, you use Microsoft most likely, and you can play with Copilot. Copilot's nothing special, but Gemini is. And if you have a Google account already, you have access to a host of these Gemini AI tools. So I would play around with those. Notebook LM being the largest in that Google suite, along with just AI Studio and everything that comes along with content creation there. But I won't get too far off track there. Again, Claude, nothing else. Stick to that. I'm not a representative of Claude, by the way. I'm just gonna start going crazy here if I don't do this. Here we go. All right. Now, number 2, I would get Claude Cowork set up. So if you're gonna get Claude set up, you can just do a $20 a month subscription. You can do the free one if you want, but I suggest no less than the $20 subscription. I'm on a 20x plan on one account and a 5x plan on another. There's no wrong way to go. If you're dipping your toes in, don't max it out. Like, see if you're gonna max out your usage before you go to the next tier. That's what my recommendation would be here. Now, you get Claude set up, then what do? I say you get Claude Cowork set up, because everything after getting Claude Cowork set up should be done with AI, so that way it can start learning your workflows, learning how you work, learning your systems, processes, how you like things to be done. That would be my recommendation. So, Claude Cowork. What is Claude Cowork? Well, Claude has created Cowork to be somewhat of an ecosystem for how you work. Your knowledge base. It builds a memory. It builds knowledge on the workflows and platforms and systems you use, the people involved in those workflows and platforms, the standard operating procedures, the if and thens, all of these things. It will start to learn these things and become a bit of a second brain. Now, I say second brain. There are other tools marketing themselves as like second brains. You can connect your Claude code memory to Obsidian and do all these things. That's a whole nother world that we'll get into on another day. But Claude Code, you're gonna need the desktop app. So download the desktop app for Claude after you've signed up and go to Cowork. Now, you can just stay in Cowork, you can do work here, or if you wanna be mobile and work with Cowork, you download the mobile app, and then there's something called Dispatch. So it'll have you connect your phone to your device, and this will actually allow you to work from your computer while you're mobile. So your phone will be able to connect to your desktop device, and then it will just communicate as a kind of home base, right? You've heard all these people open Claude, they went out, they got Mac Minis, they use them as like their home bases. It's kind of the same situation here. So this device becomes the home base of your Claude Cowork. It's where files will be saved. It's where tabs will be opened in AI browsers. It's where all the work will get done and stored, essentially. This device, whatever device you're on. I'm on, whatever, doesn't matter. Now, what you'll want to do is if you want full capability of Claude Cowork when you're anywhere, I would set up browser control and set up computer control. This will allow the browser to use your keyboard and mouse, or your computer, Claude, to use your computer screen, your browser, to control your computer and mouse, go through screens, click through different UIs, UXs, buttons, forms, all types of things. I've used Claude Cowork to use browser and computer usage to build out a full CRM for me within the last week. So I only directed Claude what I wanted via messages, and the CRM was built. Took a couple days. It's a little bit slower than I would have been, but I was able to do that. I predict in the next 3 to 6 months, it'll be much faster than I could have even done it. So pretty soon here, it'll be as quick as me, and then not too far after, it'll be way faster than me. That would be step 2 here. Get Claude set up. That's just what you do. Like, that's the meta today. And I'll just keep it straight. I won't say, try this, try that, use Claude. Don't waste time. Then get Cowork set up. If you're comfortable with it and look into all of like the security stuff and read all the disclosures and all this stuff, I'm not going to do all that in this video. I'm telling you to do it. Don't just go on a whim of what I say. It's your own choice if you do this, but turn on browser and computer support or control. This will allow it to take control of your screen and actually work for whether you're at your computer and need a second set of hands or whether you're mobile. Something I do a lot is I'm constantly working now when I'm away because I can keep working when I'm mobile. But I am always working at least twice the capacity because I have at least one Claude system going and working while I'm working simultaneously in an async kind of position, doing its own thing. I prompt it, we talk, but I'm more so a manager of Claude. It's an actual employee. That Claude can have sub-agents and a bunch of other stuff. And I have multiple Claudes. It's quite a complex system, but for today's purposes, we're setting up. And so the next thing that I would set up, and this is step 3, is I would start setting Claude's memory and knowledge base up. Now, the first thing that I like to do is I find that the memory can be kind of funky inside these systems. So I have Claude create a duplicate memory document that's local on my device. So it might take up a little bit of storage over time, but I have my own duplicate memory that has the same behaviors and actions as Claude's autosave in its internal memory system. So that way I always have it. Because I'll be honest, I lost access to the email in my last one, and the only way you can get all of your backed up data is if they email it, and I can't get the email. So I lost all of the data, and I had to kind of save my ass on this one, if I'm being honest. I'm not gonna let that happen again. Also, I've learned that it makes it very easily transferable between other AI systems. So let's say tomorrow, Google puts out the most banger model in the world. Well, I have a native AI system that I can transfer over into another one. It's just a memory dump, right? So it goes and bounces around. Now, that is what I would start doing, but obviously it has to start building up with knowledge. You don't just build the file and let it sit there. So you be proactive about this. So what I did was I just listed out on a piece of paper all of the systems I actually use. What CRM do I use? Calendar systems, phone systems, email providers. Do I use any video hosting platforms, domain hosting, all of these different platforms that you may use throughout a day. And after I have all of these tools that I regularly use listed, the next step is extremely simple. And steps 4 and 5 are actually going to be extremely simple. A lot of people overcomplicate this. I believe it's not as complicated as they make it seem because AI can do it now. That's what phase 2 is all about, is AI can do it. I'm listening to people talk about how they're connecting this MCP and this MCP and that MCP and that MCP. I'm like, bro, I got one MCP, Claude to Chrome, and absolute screen control, and it could do anything. Go connect the MCPs, it does it. I don't do that shit anymore. I've ascended physical touch with my keyboard and my mouse. I've ascended this, and you can ascend this too. So step 4, tell Claude to one by one, if you want to give it an order, you can. If you want to give a list of important to least important, or top priority to lowest priority, whatever it is, or just free for all it, tell it to take this list. Make sure you have computer use and browser use on inside of Claude Cowork in your settings. This is extremely important. Otherwise, you're just using normal Claude and you've wasted your time. I need you to put this list in, and you tell Claude, you ready for it? It's like a long, rampage these platforms. I want you to go through each and every one of these platforms and familiarize yourself with the contents of them in my specific use cases. So if I give a CRM, maybe I explain a little bit behind the CRM. I give some context so that way it isn't wasting its time just willy-nilly doing everything in the CRM. I can point it to things. Look at this opportunity pipeline. Look at these workflows. Look at these customer tags. Look at these contact fields. I want you to look at these emails. I want you to look at this calendar. I want you to look at these descriptions. I want you to look at these payment links. Direct it. Don't just say, go through the shit, because it will go through, right? Just go through it, but it'll just go through broadly. If there's specific things that you want it to look at, you need to tell it. And this is effective communication. This is what working with AI is now. It's effective communication. It will be as broad or as specific as you are. Just remember that. So if you're broad and lazy in your query, it will be broad and lazy in its response. That's just what it is. So have it start going through these platforms, and then have it start documenting what it's finding in those experiences. So as it's going through, what's it learning? What's it seeing? What's it identifying? Have it save that in the memory. Your memory doc that you've created in its auto memory. These are things that are important. If it has issues clicking through and dealing with certain UIs, have it create a troubleshooting memory document where if it runs into a roadblock, it tries to figure out how to fix it. Once it fixes it, it documents it. So that way, next time you run into the roadblock, it has the troubleshooting document to go through and say, oh, have I gone through this before? Yes, no, yes. Okay, apply this. If it works, move on. If not, it's a different issue. Let's fix it. And that document just grows and grows and grows. So troubleshooting is almost null for me now because I use the same platforms almost every single day, and we found all of the issues that we have to work through. So it'll only take you 14 days of actually doing this for that troubleshooting document to really be dialed in to where it's just going through and not getting roadblocked by anything. And then number 5. So let's go through this. Let's stop really quickly. 1, Claude. 2, Claude Cowork. 3, build the memory and prep the system, sort of get it ripe to be able to take in a bunch of knowledge and education on you, your business, how you work, your workflows, whatever it may be, systems you use, all that stuff. Then number 4, have it start interacting with all of that. So if there's the documents, the platforms, the websites, whatever, give that list to Claude, direct it specifically with context on what you want it to look at in each of those items on that list. Again, it will be as broad and lazy or specific and accurate as you are. So provide that list, have it start just running through and familiarizing itself. Have it start creating memory on those systems. And then have it just document it. Like, how does it work and how does it interact with them? I could keep saying it. I'm looping now. I'll move on. I'm being annoying. And then number 5 is do this every single day over the course of weeks. And you will find your communication style. You'll find that Claude has its own way of speaking and doing things and how you can manipulate and get it to do the things that you want. You'll find just the right amount of context that you need to where, like, you know, maybe it's too much context and some things don't get done. Maybe this is too little and not enough gets done. You'll find the sweet spot. So over the course of days and weeks, you will callous a communication style with AI. And this is number 5, is consistency. Keep doing this. Keep using the same platforms. Don't bounce around. Every time a new LLM or frontier model puts a model out, don't switch to that one. And this is the new one that I use now. Like, you can use these models in different ways, but you need to have one as a home base. And for the foreseeable future and right now, Claude is the best equipped in terms of infrastructure for you to do this. Also, if you go use something like OpenClaw, I'm speaking to a lot of people about this, business owners, and they are getting restricted by Claude. They are getting smacked with token usage, and they're not able to use their subscription usage because Claude is making it more difficult for people. So until other frontier models, which they seem to be, right, we're hearing GPT 5.5 and Kimi and all these other models, they're getting more agentic. So more models will start doing this, but Claude is top tier for this right now. And so that's what I'm going to preach. And I think Claude will continue to be top tier for this. Sometimes I know in this AI race, people inch forward, then people take steps back, they inch forward, right? At one point it was Google, at one point it was ChatGPT. Right now it's Anthropic and Claude. But I think people are getting so ingrained in phase 2 of AI that it's going to be much more difficult to kind of just switch over. Now, what I will say is having all of this stuff locally on computers and on device, what does that mean? Can you use maybe Anthropic's version and OpenAI's version and Google's version, and they're all just double dipping into the same files? Maybe. Then you get the best of all worlds, which is probably where I see this going. That's what a lot of people do with just normal AI right now, right? I use Claude for writing, and I use Google for analysis, and I use Grok for social sentiment. And, people have found their best use cases for different models. I assume that'll happen if everything starts being local on device. So that's just my prediction. Anyways, I could keep rambling. I hope that this gives you kind of a roadmap to just quickly diving into AI and getting interactive with it. I know it's not the prettiest thing. This isn't like the most polished, perfect video in the world, but it's raw and real. And this is what people who start moving and progressing today are doing. They get in and they start using. They're not watching a bunch of stuff. They're not sitting on their hands waiting for the next model. They're just diving in and going. And so that's what my recommendation would be here. Find your model, Claude. Set it up to be able to work with it, be an ecosystem. Then set it up and make it so that it has infrastructure around it, around memory and the systems that it knows you're using and things like that. Then let it start to build a memory and knowledge base on those systems, and then start using those systems with Claude. Direct it to use them. Hey, do this in the CRM, write this email, find this file, label this video, find this folder and move it over here. Just start talking and you'll see. It's like magic. That is why my program is called Abra, because Abra means as I speak, I create. Abracadabra, it's what magicians say, right? Abra. And so I'm teaching you how to use your words and not your hands to work. I worked for 5 years with my hands doing this stuff. Automations, workflows, email systems, all of that. And I've ascended it now. So tune back in next week, tomorrow, whenever I post another video, honestly. Subscribe. If you're interested in more and there's specifics that you want to know, leave a comment, and I'd be happy to make videos specific to what you guys are wanting. So we'll talk soon, and see you later, Gango.